Hello, my name is Crystal Guevara, and I'll be talking about intercultural communications today. Communication in general can be very hard, especially with strangers, because one has to find out everything about the other. For one has to find out the personality, the character, what one likes, what one doesn't like, one's background. However, it can be extremely hard communicating with someone from a different culture because you don't know what they're accustomed to, and vice versa, because they don't know what you're accustomed to. For example, I myself am Mexican American, so I participate in Mexican cultures and American cultures, and I can completely understand how one can feel when one is communicating with a different culture, because it's like extreme polarizations, because the American culture, if you don't want food, then that's fine, like you can reject it. But in the Mexican culture, if you reject food from a little old Mexican woman, then that's total disrespect. So I can totally see how communicating with someone from a different culture can be extremely hard. In addition, I work in retail, so I do communicate often with people from different cultures, and it can be a handful sometimes because you don't know how will they react if I ask something, something that's very common in the American culture. It's just different traditions and cultures that I'm accustomed to, they're not accustomed to. And so for me to help me be an open communicator with people from different cultures, I have to, take all the prejudgments and all the stereotypes away from meeting that person, because even though culture and traditions make us who we are, not everyone is the same in the same culture. So, if I think, Americans or Italians are all loud and they gesture their hands and, they're all mobbish, like that wouldn't be the right way to start. That wouldn't be the right process to think of communicating with someone, because you're just focused on that judgment that you have in your mind. You're not allowing them to fully express who they are when you're communicating. In addition, learning about someone is learning about their history and their traditions and their cultures. You have to be like all ears to communicate well with someone from a different culture, because if you don't communicate well, if you don't listen to what they're saying, then there are going to be some conflicts between each culture, because if they're trying to express, we're about to go into my grandma's house, my Mexican grandma's house, and if you reject food, then you see that's seen as disrespect. And then you go into the house and they reject the food, then you could tell that they weren't listening to you, and you don't really appreciate their culture and their tradition. Lastly, for me to communicate with someone, from a different culture, I would have to have full self-confidence within myself, so I could completely learn who they are and what their traditions are and what they're accustomed to, because like I said, that is who we are. America is patriotic and we love it. Mexicans are passionate people. So if you don't really learn the person's culture or their customs, then you truly don't understand where their background and where they come from. Lastly, there are some things that I would do so I wouldn't step on the toes of the person I'm communicating with a different culture. So I wouldn't do like trigger words. I would expand my vocabulary, and I wouldn't really use a lot of sayings that my culture says, because they wouldn't understand it. So communicating with someone with a different culture is very hard, but we can all work at it. And I love traveling and I love meeting people with different cultures, so it's fun to me, and I just need to work on it more, so I don't really show the other person that I'm denoting their culture or their traditions. So thank you very much. Bye.